I recently created a video about choosing the best RV based on your needs and your wants. That is all well and good, but how do you know if something is a need or a want? There are so many things that need to be considered when looking at RVs. Their size, what appliances they come with, what power they may have, the list goes on. And the number of ways to rate any one of these things is a big list too. Needless to say, I've made my own. When I decided to do this, I wanted to have some specific criteria to review, but also be generic enough for anyone to use. I also wanted something more than just a rating system. There are certain things that matter more than other things in that RV, and if those things aren't at least usable, there's no reason to even consider the RV in the first place. So I created an RV ratings table with 25 different criteria that could be rated anywhere from a high of 4 to a pitiful low of 0. Each rating has a description, but one that is very generic, things like ample, easy, above average, and so on. I figured if it got too specific, it would only be good for one person, me. That said, there are a couple of items that I felt had to be better defined than a word like adequate. Ground clearance is, admittedly, something that would depend on driving conditions, whether you drive only on paved roads or like to travel more rough terrain. But in general, it seems that an RV that has 7 inches or more of ground clearance is one that is considered pretty high off the ground, so I use that as the best rating. As a comparison, the Winnebago Rebel is supposed to have something like 8 inches of ground clearance. You may decide these numbers need to be modified a bit, so keep that in mind if you use this rating system. The other criteria that seemed to need a bit of explanation was noise. I felt just saying something like loud or quiet was too vague, so I have decibels listed instead. Basically, anything under 60 decibels is regular background noise, so I considered that the best possible rating. Anything above 75 decibels is getting pretty noisy. If you want, you could always change the ratings to a word that makes sense to you, but this worked for me. If you want to measure decibels, you can buy fairly cheap devices online or just download an app for your phone like the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health Sound Level Meter. Other than that, ratings are pretty straightforward. But you may have noticed there were some ratings that were in red. This was something I wanted in the chart, an automatic fail. If the score for any criteria hit a certain rating, the score's in the red zone, in other words, then the RV automatically failed as a candidate for review and there was no need to go on. Like I said, some things are just more important than others. Consider what is most important for your list and change accordingly. Let's start out with an RV that will remain nameless. There are some things I really like about this RV, like a big microwave and kitchen sink, but overall, I think it lacks a lot of things. The beds aren't that comfortable, the fridge is too small, and the insulation, especially in the bathroom area, is lacking, to put it mildly. But there's one thing that was below average, the cost-benefit ratio. So even though it earned 69 points, the cost was just way too high for what you got. So it got a below average, which is in the red zone, so automatic fail. Now, before you go and say that I own an Embassy, so I'm biased, there are things that the Embassy scores low on too, like the AC noise outside and the low ground clearance. So it didn't earn 100 or even a score in the 90s. It earned an 89. And remember, that's for a van that I own and really, really like. I tend to be a hard grader. Just ask my ex-students. Now you may not even use this rating system at all, and that's fine. But I hope that at the very least, it starts getting you to think about what is really important to you when looking at RVs. Does the microwave have to be convection, or is that just a nice option? Is the overall length more important than your color choices? All of that is up to you, and getting a handle on what your real needs are is going to help you find the best RV that satisfies those needs in the long run. Good luck and be seeing you.